So it,
Welcome to
the
Sunday
last time
Night
that we met,
D&D.
we were in the capital, Rule, and we were about to head south to the uh, town that I can't remember the name of to talk with Mrs. Plenty about taking a look through her books to see if we could find any information on the exact location of any of the staffs, because her great uncle was an alchemist in the war. Um, and then we were going to head east to see if we could rent a boat to go out to check the location of the water staff. And then we were
Charlie, I want you in this room, buddy. Come on.
Your dog is gonna learn to play D&D whether he likes it or not. I mean,
Well, he's always in here while we play. Yep. Sometimes he does. All right.
now you just need to start rolling him a character.
Yeah, he's the crazy wizard.
That explains so much.
All right, we need to open this. You were headed to San Juan.
yes.
Not too far.
Do we have an uneventful trip, or does
Yes.
anything happen?
While we're traveling,
Yes.
this seems like a good time to take a look at that Warforged book. No?
Oh, speaking
Okay.
of books, Tony, I would recover what I left with Balthazar and or Boltus, whatever, whichever one. Yeah, I don't remember which one, the name of which. I would recover what I left with him and ask about any information that he was able to get for me in the 10 days that he had it while we were in town.
Right. He says of the work that he could do on it, he was only really able to glean that the magic is old, but not unstoppable.
Okay.
In other words, it can be countered. It's just going to take a matter of finding out exactly how.
Okay.
Which is going to take more study.
Right, and I will accept his option that you preferred the last time around, as
To hold on to it so it doesn't.
right.
Yeah.
And then I believe Grandius, no, 1092. You said that you were checking about a book that you had. You wanted to read it along the way.
If you could, I can't read. I mean, I can't read one of them, which is the
one that's in Ancient Dwarvish, right?
Yeah, I can't read the Ancient Dwarvish one. I have the other one concerning Warforge, which I have said that he's kind of read as he was traveling to the kingdom.
Sorry, we had to discuss something. Yeah, no, he wanted to hold on to it for you because he was a little afraid of having it getting out in the open. And if something happens to you, then your wish of it being hidden and destroyed is kind of moot.
Right.
So
Does
there's
everyone else know what he's referring to when he talks about this?
Not a clue.
I do. That's the idea.
Well, no, that's what I was trying to understand, whether this was just something I missed or whether
This
No,
is
no,
everyone else was.
probably between him and the DM, and we just kind of
Yeah, no, I'm in the dark with this whole thing.
Right, it was a private conversation between Ricallo and Baltus when he went over to visit him in the library.
Yep,
Okay.
we have no idea,
And-
so it doesn't matter to
Right.
us.
And I just forgot about jumping into DM whispers about it. But in any case, 1092 was going over. You weren't able to go through one book because it's an Ancient Dwarvish, but you
Yeah,
wanted
it's
to go
in-
through the other one.
Yeah, I was going to go through the other one, and he's been He's been reading a little bit of this if he can.
Well,
I spent some time in the
I-
library looking into ancient.
I was actually going to suggest, while we are traveling, if Zyra would like to assist you, she has the ability to comprehend languages. She would be able to
I do.
read.
But does
You
does that
do have
count
the
on
spell,
the-
if I remember
Since
correctly.
when do I have that spell?
She would have need to have taken it on a level up because bards cannot switch spells until they level.
I'm
I believe you
looking.
do, anyway.
And then she's stuck with it until the next level.
I had it on my last level. When I leveled up, I dropped it and picked
Oh.
something else up.
You dropped it for something else. Okay,
Mhm.
got you. Never mind.
Sorry,
However,
I can still
I-
go and assist where needed, but I don't have
Like,
comprehend languages.
I'm not proficient in like Dwarvish. I understand.
We
the
need-
reason of it.
We need a warlock with the rune keeper ability.
Although I can learn, I can read giant and draconic.
or the next time that we get into a town, if somebody wants to,
Wait, Dane knows Dwarvish.
if
Yeah, I
somebody
do.
wants to come to the library with me, I can buy the comprehend languages spell.
No, I meant like I meant
I
the other.
also.
The,
Sorry.
I meant the concerning Warforged book. Like he's been trying to get it. He doesn't know exactly how to read fluent Dwarvish.
Knowing Dwarvish can be really helpful. My Dragonborn barbarian was an outlander who learned Dwarvish because he spent a lot of time with dwarves, and he actually was able to read a book of invisibility so that the bugbear wizard that we were traveling with could learn it.
Interesting.
Okay.
I still have that super cool quiver, by the way. If anyone needs to store anything.
And for the record, my Dragonborn's intelligence was an 8, and he was the one that had to read the book to the wizard.
Anyway, Ricardo, I spent some time in Balthus's library studying ancient Dwarvish to assist us in decoding the book that's in ancient.
Okay. So then, with the one that we are able to understand, is there anything extra for information that we found for 1092?
Say that again.
The two books that we have of 1092s, the one concerning Warforged and
Which
the one
is
about
that one is just Dwarvish.
right, and then the other one is in Ancient Dwarvish. While we're traveling, we're trying to read through both books. Is there anything that we can glean from either one that we haven't already learned previously?
I think we have to roll for the ancient Dwarvish one.
I would
As
assume.
far as the one that's not in ancient Dwarvish, what exactly are you trying to glean from it?
I have no idea. Just anything
I was gonna
that
say
might be.
because the
might
one
be
that is
relatively-
not in ancient Dwarvish doesn't have much that isn't about ancient Dwarvish. You know what I mean?
Well, she gave me one that was. Wait.
I'll be
wait,
right back. I
wait,
gotta go
wait,
check on my kids. I hear a lot of thumping
Crap, am
coming
I
from
getting
their
it
room.
backwards?
Michael's been walking
I
around.
think I'm getting it backwards. I think the one that she handed me was in just word. Fuck! Now I'm confused. God damn it, Tony, help me!
I don't know what you're talking about.
The two books. I have two books. One of them is an ancient Dwarvish. The other one's not.
Yes, the one that is not is not a book on ancient Dwarvish stuff.
That was that the concerning Warforge.
Possibly.
Yeah, because he said that was the last thing he discovered before he just kind of put it away.
Yeah.
And then she handed me just this big ass tome of things, which is actually no. Okay, it's a normal sized book that apparently is something. I don't know. She did some sort of magic thing. I am as clueless as 1092. I don't get magic.
What happened was you were given both books. One book is in Ancient Dwarvish. The other book is not. The book that you are most interested in and have not yet looked through is the one that is not.
Okay.
Didn't I, Lou?
I mean, no, the one that you're most interested. I'm sorry, the one that you're most interested in is the one that is, because it looks like it pertains to your past directly. Because you remember, it is a smaller copy of a large leather-bound book that the wizard had in his possession, with a picture of dwarves fighting alongside
Warforged against some sort of
Warforged.
dragon riders.
that look like you
Yes, against some sort of dragon riding thing.
against some sort of dragon riders. Yes.
All right.
So you're more interested in the one that hang on.
Directly pertains to me. Which,
Chew on your toys, not our laundry.
which the thing I post in Facebook is what Tony he said I could make the the mask thing.
The mask comes from the
I don't know if that's a good mask or not. I
The,
don't. know.
uh,
I suck at drawing.
That's fine. It looks
shit, I
good.
don't remember the name of the clan. Hang on, let me look at my notes.
Iron Face.
Iron Face clan, yes.
I have
The Iron
all. I
Face
have
clan-
those notes.
The Iron Face clan are probably the ones that made you. They haven't existed in a long time.
This is why Dane knows not of existence, or knows not what they are.
Their lands still exist where they were, and the fact that they were Iron Face lands, because dwarves don't let history just go. They write it down on their walls. Watch the video from Yogscast on the song Dig a Diggy Hole and you'll understand.
That's such a good song.
Oh, that's loud.
The Dane is just like, oh, God damn it.
So then, if we aren't able to find out anything extra by looking at it throughout the trip, then we'd cut to the town of what I still can't remember the name
Were
of
you
this
going to
town.
try and purchase a scroll?
I was thinking about purchasing a spell of comprehend language once we're in town.
Can we at least
Okay,
check
you
out the
remember
other one?
that San Juan is not much more than a strip village,
Right.
like an old western one road town. Remember?
Yeah. I see if there's anything there.
Because I think we
if-
already
if
left the
there is an
capital, so we're.
I was gonna say, if you want to
Right.
retcon and try and buy it in the capital, you'd be more likely to find it than you would in San Juan.
How much would that even be?
For him to purchase,
Yeah, for me to purchase a spell of comprehend languages.
it
that
is
a
a
permanent?
first level spell,
Yep.
which is a common spell, and that
Right.
will run you.
But does that work with an ancient language?
It's comprehend languages. It works with any language, any written language.
Oh, okay.
It'll run you 75 gold.
Okay.
So much in the capital between the range of 50 to 100.
All right. I will go ahead and do it then.
I'm chipping in some for this because I'm going to
If you
make
want to copy it to your spell book, you may, but it takes an hour to do so. And that will use up the scroll. If you want to keep the scroll and use the scroll, it is a single use and it goes away and you don't remember the spell afterwards.
No, I'd copy it into my book while we're on the road.
Okay.
About how long is the book?
What book?
the book
the-
I have.
The
The-
Ancient Dwarvish.
The Ancient Dwarvish book? Oh, I mean, it's mostly information, so it's probably only a couple hundred pages.
Um,
It's not a
I-
novel. It's not a story. It's a history.
I was looking up the spell. It looks like you can only read about 60 pages with it. Lasts for an hour, and it says it takes about a minute to read a page.
Right.
I'm concerned I left one of the dogs
But
outside. I'm gonna go
I'd
check.
be able.
What is your intelligence modifier? Your intelligence score. I'm sorry, Raquel.
Mine.
Yeah.
Give me a sec. The modifier is
Not modifier, the score.
Oh, the score itself is 15.
Okay, so yeah, it's probably gonna be about a minute per page.
Kyle, I will
that-
chip in some gold for this.
If you were up,
scroll.
well, it's a first level spell. If he takes an hour and puts it into his spell book using the materials and the cost that it would take to do that, meaning pen and ink, then he would have the spell in his spell book at his disposal at a first level spell. So he would just expend another slot. It just would, in order to cast it, it would expend the slots for first level.
Right.
And you can use you can use it at a higher level slot. It just doesn't add any special to it. You can just use a second level spot to cast it.
Right.
And it just uses up that slot instead. So he can cast it as many times as he has spell slots. It's just how many times does he want to do it and still have spells available.
Right. So I would take
I'm
off.
back.
You said you were gonna pay for part of it. If you
I'll
want to
pay for
cover
part of it.
like 20, I'll do the other.
I'd do. Oh my,
55.
I could do the whole 75 if you wanted.
You have 100
No.
chew toys.
I'll,
So
I'll,
far, you have been smacked for chewing a shirt, a
You know what?
blanket,
I'm gonna
and
just throw in
now a
30.
hairpiece.
I'll do the 30 then. Just
Chew
You'll do
your
30?
toys.
Okay.
yeah, I'll do
That
30.
works.
Because you'd be getting this spell not only for yourself but to help out
Go.
Kennedy too. He'd be all over just helping to pay for it. If not, buy it outright.
Go on,
Well, thank you.
go get a toy.
This
That's
might be
my
the,
hand. You'll get
This might be
smacked
the
even
first
harder
time
for that.
92
Go
sits
get
in
a
the
toy.
cart. Instead of walking and reading and trying to understand this, he'd be sitting with him, just with Riccolo. So what is it?
Good thing I'm riding a horse.
I'm
Well,
riding
you
a broom.
guys have like an old western covered wagon. There's
Yeah,
room.
but now we have
We have brooms though.
2 people who have brooms. Now there's
that
more
you
room in
can
the cart.
attach to the sides of the outside of the thing.
Yeah, but now they're
Unless
just
you
gonna
wanna
but
ride
yeah, they're just gonna sit on the brooms and just ride. That must not be very comfortable for hours.
Oh my god. All right.
Depends on how you modify it.
So then, during our trip south to San Juan, then we'd be, or I'd be using the comprehend languages to look through the book in the ancient Dwarvish to see what I can find for him.
Oh dear. I don't know what he's rolling for.
I don't either.
Now look at the map here.
Oh no, he's rolling for danger.
Danger would be fun.
That's a few months travel.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I don't like these low numbers. I don't know what they're for, but I don't
Okay.
like them.
So do me a favor, folks,
Uh-oh.
and
Uh-oh.
we're gonna speed travel a couple of combats. This is something new I want to try.
Oh boy.
I want everybody, including myself, to roll a percentile.
Okay.
Okay.
D100 in the house.
Yeah, D100.
Alright.
I got a 69.
63.
I can
Of
say
course you did.
69, well,
I just had to announce it. I got a 69.
52.
I'm glad somebody else
40,
said something too.
63, 55.
I got a
I can
12.
roll 3.
I get a 12.
Even your dice are dirty, Devin. Jeez,
27, 32,
It's
20.
funny because every time me and Tom play bingo, every time 69 comes up, we giggle and think of you.
So the majority of you rolled over what I rolled.
Uh-oh.
Who
which
rolled the
means that
12?
Of the 3 times that you guys were attacked, you won all 3 battles.
Yay!
Because this map is so huge, this is how I'm gonna kind of calculate just random travel encounters. I'm gonna do it by a group roll of a D100 versus however many rolls that I do. And in the end, what are you doing? That is a carpet. You're not going to get it up off the floor, especially starting in the middle. What are you doing?
Don't underestimate the dog.
I have given you cardboard to shred and make a mess of. Go play with that. Anyway, so this is how I'm going to do random encounters, random travel encounters. And what we're going to do is if you should lose an encounter, then I'm going to have you guys
Actually role play for it.
No. If you lose an encounter, you lose the encounter. Should you have depending on how badly you guys roll versus how I roll, I'm going to have you take off things like potions expended, hit dice expended, and spell slots expended for the, and that's going to be at the end of travel is when all of that stuff is going to come into play. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So in this case, you had 3 encounters. You won all 3 of them, but let's say you lose one of them. Losing 1 out of 3 isn't that bad. So you'd only lose if you have, if you have any of them, you'd only lose like 1 or 2 healing potions, no hit dice, and maybe a couple of spell slots. You lose all 3 of them, you're going to be, pretty much out of
supplies,
potions, and you're going to have, most of your hit dice are going to be used, and you're going to be down more spell slots than 1 or 2. It all depends on how many combats versus how much time is going by, and that's how I'm doing that is in time gone by.
Okay.
Also, those big those rolls of the D20 I did were all kind of, I took a varied average, not varied, but very loose average, and I came to 3 combats. I did not exactly average them. Do not go back and do the math. I will have to shoot your parents. I understand how difficult that would be for you, Grandius, considering.
What if I already did the average? I was trying to figure out what you were doing. I may or may not have already done the math before you even said anything.
At any rate, 1, I don't believe you because you're not that good.
Wow.
Averages are very easy.
2, I don't care. So there's that. So if you guys are okay with it now that you've seen how it works,
it makes
random encounters for a map this huge is going to be done pretty much like this.
Okay.
Yeah, that works.
That
for
works.
the expedience, some of them, not all of them. Every once in a while, you guys are going to stop dead in the middle of the road and roll initiative.
That's fine. Keep things interesting as we go along. That's fine.
Yeah, it's just 2 different ways of doing it.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm not complaining. All right.
So, at any rate,
I'll
You won all 3 combats. Your reward.
We're awesome.
I'm going to roll.
Random people on the road can't stop us. No one's stopping this train.
9 silver apiece for the first combat.
Yay.
4 silver apiece for the second.
I don't know.
And 2 silver apiece for the third.
Woot woot.
Kind of makes sense as less money away,
15
further
silver.
further
So
away
15
from the
total silver apiece for the 3 combats won.
the further away we get from the capital, the less money people have. Makes sense.
If you should lose a combat when it comes to this system, I'm just going to consider it a flee. Nobody's going to go down. Nobody's going to die. It's just going to be you fled.
Yay.
The real danger of going down and dying will come when I actually stop you in the middle of the road.
How much
San
silver did you-
Juan. It's been a while.
How much silver was that?
15 total.
15, got it.
San Juan, the lazy little village. The northernmost village that isn't poisoned. The northernmost village that isn't, well, currently burned to the ground.
Am I the only person that wants to go there and see if there's anything that's salvageable?
No,
It's
actually,
been so long, anything that's salvageable has been taken, and the place has probably been rebuilt.
Damn it. What happens if I destroy it again?
You would be an outlaw of the king.
I think
But
some of
it's
the party members
pirates.
would also take.
Yeah, a lot of people would take exception to that. Probably even Grandius. Yes. The lazy village of San Juan. Not a lot going on. Like I say, it's a single street, mostly farmland on the outskirts. The biggest farm is Mrs. Plenty's up the hill on the edge of town. The road pretty much leads from the entrance to the main thoroughfare all the way up to her house.
How well have they
which is-
how well have they recovered since our last little visit?
Well, it's been quite a while. So, I mean, it almost is as if nothing had happened.
Anyone want to TikTok?
Buildings are in
Yes.
good repair.
Are you gonna deliver?
Maybe.
Anyway, so what are you guys doing? You get into town and I'm going to say you get into town in the morning. You rested and now it's, mid-morning.
I'm assuming we didn't learn much from the book.
Ricalo,
yes.
how much of the book did you read? I.e., how many times did you cast the spell?
I would have been expending 1 spell slot per day, assuming that we're taking long rest at the end of each day.
Yeah, you would have camped out at the end of each day.
Then yeah, I'd be expending 1 spell slot each day for the comprehend languages spell to see if I could find out anything.
So
and
60, 120. The first 4 days, you're pretty much finished with the book. The first 3 days, you're pretty much finished with the book, but we'll add the 4th for another just couple of pages.
and going back over stuff to see if I can find anything else that I might have missed, that kind of thing.
Right. First of all, don't run away from me. Second of all, that is the 4th thing that I have found you chewing on that isn't a toy. Now, to those of you who think I just beat my dog, I want you to know that my dog is a manipulative little shit. And if I hit him this hard, he will scream 9 or 10 times. Oh, also, if he's in trouble and I pick him up gently from his undercarriage, or touch him, or talk to him, or move in his direction. And he's learned to do this because before, when he yelped, I would back off, thinking, oh shit, I hurt him. He's a manipulative little shit. His chew toy and bring it over to the chair because he's not supposed to chew on the chair. And he will chew on his chew toy until he thinks you're not watching. Then with his chew toy right next to him, chews on the chair.
You have a sneaky dog.
Yes. Yes, I do.
He fits you well.
Yes, he does. Now, from the book, you are able to pretty much read the whole thing. And it is a history, basically, of the Iron Face clan.
Yep.
The Iron Face clan is one of the older dwarven clans in this land. Obviously, this is not the whole continent. This is just one part of it.
Right.
But the Iron Face clan, the Silvertooth clan, and the Order of the Hammer established the dwarvish capital city of Oscar. When the First War broke out, Oscar basically banded together with the rest of the free folk to end the war. They had been fighting themselves in the within the mountains against goblins and other subterranean bad guys who were a part of the war against the free folk and had practically won because of the members of the Order of the Hammer. The members of the Order of the Hammer, although they were there at Fender, many of them actually left to go back to the city with no name, which was untouched by the war. Mainly because that would be stupid. And though Fort Fender was the last bastion of free folk in this corner of the continent, from the city with no name on, the continent had been untouched. Anybody, if Fender had fallen, anybody who survived would have probably gone and fled to the city with no name for safety.
Okay.
As far as their Warforge, they have a specific particular design. And their specific particular design is one that you are all familiar with. You have one among you.
Hi.
1092 is as old as or older than the First War.
Holy shit.
Wow. You're an old bastard.
From the book,
Where's my
from the
cane?
book, you glean that each of their Warforged had a name, which was numbers. 1092 means that he is the 92nd member of the 10th Brigade. .1092 actually, the book actually explains where he was, and there is a depiction of a war in a 2-page, smaller obviously than the regular book, drawing or painting of some kind. In this version, it's all black and white. In the bigger book, it was fully colored. 1092. Good boy. Play with your ball.
Okay.
1092 was considered rendered unusable because he was picked up in the mouth of a dragon, shaken a bunch, and then thrown.
Ha! Fuck you, dragon! I'm still alive.
And broken.
Did he outlive the dragon?
Well,
It doesn't say whether or not the dragon was defeated. It just says
Well,
that.
now I have a revenge plan.
Oh boy.
It just says that that the free folk won, and the last of 1092's breed of Warforged were rendered obsolete. There was only a few of them left, and newer, more agile, more magic, more magical designs were coming out of the city with no name. So Oscar stopped making Warforged, and there was barely any Iron Face clan left. And according to the book, there were so few of them that they simply married off to other families. And though there is an Iron Face bloodline somewhere, nobody knows where, they gave up their name to join other families.
Oh.
well,
The Silvertooth had the same problem. The war decimated the Silvertooth clan and the Iron Face clan, and then the Order of the Hammer just basically went the fuck away. What's in Oscar now is a bunch of different clans of later migrants over the last, thousands of years, hundreds or thousands, or whenever I said the war was. So, yeah, 1092 is not supposed to exist. According to the book,
You faked your death, you sneaky bastard.
I didn't fake my death.
he was rendered inoperable by a dragon.
Now I have a goddamn revenge plan. I will find this motherfucking dragon.
The dragon does have a name.
Okay, please give me the name of the dragon.
1092's grand plan. Step 1, find the dragon. Step
Step
2,
two,
stare
kill
at
the
the dragon
dragon.
intently. Step 3, ask friends to help him slay the dragon.
pretty much.
If he doesn't decide, say fuck it and run in first.
I kind of want to see 1092 solo the dragon.
Just guess what? Night of the Giants, bitch.
Oh my god.
By the time I find
Wow.
this dragon, I'll have like some of the fun things with this new Rune Knight thing.
That just came out like 2 weeks ago.
I know, and I already read it, and I'm just like,
I mean, if I was running on the same logic and I was making a new character, I'd do the Twilight Cleric because he sounds busted and fun. You can't do anything about dark vision. I have apparently
Unlimited.
infinite dark. That is busted.
I would require.
Also, he can just give himself the ability to fly.
You have a broom now.
That's Twilight Cleric is a little too good.
Give me the name of the
And
dragon.
that's at level 1.
I'm waiting to be able to.
Michael, shush. Give me the name of dragon.
His name is Quillthok Frosttooth.
I'm sorry, Quillfuck?
Quillthok.
Okay.
Quilthok Frosttooth.
Okay.
I was actually one letter off.
An ancient white dragon. Hey, if it squeaks, it's yours. Good boy.
Oh dear. Wait. You say white dragon?
Yeah, you know, the animalistic, almost feral. Yeah,
Hmm.
that. Freezy cold dragon.
Freezy cold
Hmm.
dragon.
All right, who wants to help me slay a dragon?
I'm down, bud.
Fuck it, let's go get this dragon. Fuck the
I
staff.
believe, though, in the full color picture, I said it was red.
Oh shit.
So there's a contrast between the two things. In the full color picture that you saw, it was an ancient red dragon that had you in its mouth. The book's text says it was an ancient white dragon.
Wait, did I just take on multiple dragons and get bit multiple times?
No, it's a discrepancy between the drawing or painting that is in the big book and the text that is in both books. Remember, your book has it in black and white.
Now I'm very confused though.
Well,
Now
if
to-
it's
Wait,
if
am I
it's
looking
in,
for a red dragon or a white dragon?
well, if
Probably a
it's in
white.
black and white, then let's go by the text.
It says it's a white
Is-
dragon.
Right. If both books say in the text that it is a white dragon, then I would say let's go by the text because the text would be more accurate than a black and white picture.
But there was another picture that he saw in the big book.
Yes, which was a
The same-
red, but that could
It's
just
the
be an
same
artist.
picture. It's the same exact drawing or painting. But in
But
the
kind
big book, it's a full color rendition. Whereas
doesn't
in
that
this
mean
one,
it's
it's a hand drawn sketch.
Right.
doesn't
Hang
quite
on.
mean it
Hang
is
on.
accurate.
Which book is newer?
It's-
Which
The small one.
The small one is new. The
The
big
small
book
one is newer, but
old
the
one.
text would be the same in both books.
Right,
As
but
he was
if
told by the
if-
person who gave it to him.
Right, but if the picture was drawn several years after, they might have gotten their details wrong. So I'm thinking we're assuming it's a white dragon. I
Well,
think.
based on being frost, I'm assuming it might be a white, but I could be completely wrong because it's D&D.
Surely this is something we could do research on.
Yeah, I think this is something that we could look into a little bit later on.
Good, because if this dragon is alive, I am killing it.
All right. So then, if somebody wants to mark down the name of that dragon, and-
Already done. It is
Good.
in my notes, and it is right there. And
then-
No
under,
Fog Frosttooth.
as I have, it says Revenge on Dragon in all capital letters. The name, White Dragon, and shit.
All right. So
I don't
then,
forget to put ancient on there because you're not gonna be able to hit that at level 5.
yeah, no, we're gonna be waiting a little bit for him, but we definitely want to get the name down in the notes so that we don't forget when we are able to go and get him.
How much does it take to weaponize a cart?
Oh my god.
Just all the
on what
explosive.
you
barrels.
Wow.
Are you planning on driving it down its throat?
Just all the explosive barrels.
Oh my god.
Ridiculous.
Or cannon. I will think
Maybe we
about
can just
this.
get a ship and then fight the dragon with that.
Yeah, it was great. How are we gonna fight a dragon with a ship? I'm pretty sure this dragon is not in water.
You said cannons.
Yeah, I was thinking about mounting a bunch of cannons on some sort of big ass cart.
Talk to the gnomes. They probably have airships.
Ooh.
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 This is common knowledge.
Ooh. This could be fun.
All right. So with that in mind,
You'd have to go to the city with no
Well-
name to talk to them.
But that's where
Right.
we're going eventually.
right. We'll be heading there later on.
We have to go.
For
We have to get money, so I have a mercenary guild.
for right now, we'd be heading to talk to Mrs. Plenty, right? To find out about her books up in the attic.
Pretty much the same. When you enter, she brings you in. There's tea, there's cookies, there's pie.
Pie?
1092 helps himself to a pie.
She's very happy to see you.
Of course you do.
Don't you not eat?
He likes pie though.
No, but what he does is he smashes pie into his faceplate.
Because he's
I
weird
am
like that.
intrigued, but
Normally,
slightly
people
horrified.
would consider a waste of pie, but Mrs. Plenty isn't complaining. She has plenty.
Because her name is Mrs. Plenty.
You want one? Just offers you a piece and just while smashing some pie in his face.
Stepping away for a second.
Chew your toys. This.
Offers the druid. You want some pie?
Anyway,
I shake my head at 1092.
so you're in her front room. You're all enjoying tea and cookies and pie. So, what up, yo? Hey, let's role play. It is a role playing game.
Do they have a smithing
Squeak.
area here?
A what?
Do they have a small smith here?
Yeah.
Good. I'm going there. I have a thing. I have a thing to make.
Why, you want horseshoes?
No. Here's a faceplate that 1092 now wants,
Oh god.
Oh,
and I have smithing.
okay. You realize it's probably going to take you a few days.
He'll try. He doesn't know how long we're gonna be here.
Maybe you should ask.
Now, why don't you talk it over with your group before just buggering it off?
Okay.
The only thing I could think of is if I found a way of putting them on a flash drive or something so that I could keep my pictures because I don't want to lose them like I did last time.
Right.
Because they're all gone.
All right. So there. But Mrs. Plenty is.
Who is still here? I haven't heard anything from a lot of people.
I'm still here.
Yeah,
Here.
I'm here. I'm just helping my mother. She just showed up with my daughter's toy, or
Stuffed
piggly
animal.
stuffed animal thing. Anyway, I'm helping her with her
Victor, do I
phone,
still
but I've
have
got
you?
my headset on.
Yep, sorry, still here.
Dane, do I still have you?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So, what is the group doing? You're now in Mrs. Plenty's foyer, or sitting room.
I would
had-
ask. Oh, go ahead, Dane.
I was gonna say we have a relative of hers to ask about from one of the books that we.
Yeah. Jackson Ford Thorst.
What?
His name is Jackson Ford Thorst.
Oh.
Yep. She leans back and she says, Uncle Jackie, what would you want of his?
We'd like to take a look at the books that you would have of his. If you have anything left over.
Oh, he wrote no books. I mean, he had some journals, some papers.
Journals would be perfect.
Oh, I suppose. Just be careful.
Of course.
They are quite old.
Apparently, so am I.
And she produces a box with a lock on it, and she waves her hand over the lock and utters a word, and the lock comes off, and the chains fall out. The box is actually chained shut. She utters another word, and the box opens. And she said, "Now these papers can only be out of the box for about an hour. Then they have to go back in. You see, they're preserved." And she takes a stack of papers and a couple of old hide-bound parchment journals, pocket journals, and she sets them all down on the table in front of you after clearing away the food.
Oh,
And she
oh.
says, please, no tea or food around these. These are very important to my family.
Thank you,
Dane,
ma'am.
Dane grabs a napkin, walks over to 1092, and cleans his face up.
No, he wouldn't be touching these. He wouldn't be touching these papers. He'll leave. He'll leave.
Better safe than sorry.
All right.
How should we split
so
these up?
I would say each of us take one journal and start reading it since we only have an hour with them outside of the
There are
box.
only 2 journals. The rest of
Oh.
it's all papers.
Oh, okay. Then I'll take a journal. Dane, would you want to take the other journal? And everybody else, you want to look through the papers, see if you can find anything there.
Sure, go get cleaned up.
Pile over your face.
You
As long
know,
as it's not all over his hands.
it was there.
Jeez,
Oh,
I'm
He
Weird.
offered.
Toby went and
I catch you chewing on that laundry basket one more time. You're going to bed early.
Don't blame 1092. Oh wait.
Please, can you bring Luna over?
Yeah, 1092. Stop chewing on my laundry basket.
God.
He's 6, and his sister Stella is 4, I think. So it's right in the same age range.
Over time, reading them, there is some mention of the stabs.
Doug said he's
You-
gonna try
you
getting
don't-
a hold of you.
There
and see if
is
you and
a
Jasmine
lot
can-
of mention, most of what is in the
You don't
journals
Will you please get
is
rid
about
of
his travels during the war.
Done.
And a lot of it is, we're losing.
I'll get rid of it.
Lots of
It's
deaths,
disappearing.
lots of
It's being
destruction,
unresolved.
lots of cities
You
being
use home
burned to the
advisor.
ground.
I don't even know what it is.
Lots of what the hell's an
Use
alchemist
Duolingo.
do.
Yes.
You use the Galaxy wearable.
Dev, can you mute yourself, please?
Ricardo, if you're gonna talk to her, can you mute your mic?
Yep. Sorry, I thought I did.
Get out of there. Get out of there.
But there's delicious pie.
Get out of there. Anyway, so yeah, a lot of it is pretty devastating. It talks about high body counts and the fact that there's just so little hope left that there's going to be a civilization in this corner, and making preparations for him to send his family out towards the city with no name and
there-
to safety.
Is there anything that may sparks the memories with me or no? Or not? Probably not at all.
There's nothing about you. There's plenty about the Warforged. One of the journals is written. Half of the journal is written during his stay at Fender.
I wasn't even talking about like just about Warforged, about maybe events or something.
Of you specifically?
No, of
No.
the war that I may have encountered or anything. I don't know.
It would be hard to say because he would have had to have followed you directly for anything that you would have encountered.
I don't know.
I mean, there's plenty about the war and there's plenty about Warforged. But the Warforged were used in many different battles. The fact of the matter is, just, the 10th Brigade, along with many others, were also at Fender. And they were the first to be let out. It was, the Warforged were the first line of defense. Also the first line of casualties.
Oops.
Followed by their makers, the dwarves, who were pissed off at seeing their creations getting
Killed.
destroyed. Yeah. It was basically the dwarves weren't supposed to go when they did. But they broke ranks because they needed to help their Warforged, and that's why Fender almost fell. If it wasn't for the enchanter showing up with the staves, Fender would have fallen, and there would be no free folk in this part of the world. It would be basically a very large Mordor. Stop biting my feet, Grondius.
Michael, stop biting your father's feet.
I didn't say Michael. I said Grondius. He has this affinity for biting my feet.
Wait, Grandius?
It's a cleric thing.
It's part of how he worships. That's very.
Remind me to start questioning the clerics.
So that's what you would encounter in there is mostly his observations from within the fort. Being an alchemist, he didn't really fight. He was there to create the things to fight and heal. Alchemist fire, healing potions, things like that. But he had a vantage point where he could see what was going on.
It must not have been.
You weren't the only Warforged to be crushed, eaten, or tossed by a dragon. There wasn't only one dragon there. As a matter of fact, after the 10 staves showed up, dragons came over. Chromatic dragons, not chromatic, metallic dragons showed up and helped because of one of the staves in particular. And that is the Staff of Dragons.
Why don't I remember this staff?
You don't remember most of your memory.
No.
Hang on, did you just say Staff of Dragons?
Yes.
That is not a staff I remember you referring to
Yeah,
earlier.
that's my confusion. I don't remember you mentioning a staff of dragons.
Staff of Minions, Staff of Necromancy, Staff of Water, Broken Staff of Seeing are the only ones I've mentioned. Oh, the Staff of Minion. Oh, wait. Staff of Minions I've already written down.
Right.
Some of these have to be remade because I don't remember all of them.
Yep. No, I
That would
just
be why our confusion. It's like
right, exactly.
I remember the staff of dragons.
Right.
Like there's a Staff of Eye here on the map. There's an X with an I. I don't know what the fuck that was. There's another one over here with a P. I don't know what the fuck that was.
Oh my god, my dragon I want to kill has the dragon staff. No. That would be funny, but no.
So yeah, there are staves here that I just don't remember. This is either an L or a C. No fucking clue.
That was our confusion. It's just like, where the fuck did this staff show up?
So some of them have to be remade because I just don't remember all of them. And some of them are irrelevant because this was created in 2nd and 3rd edition. And some of the stuff from 2nd and 3rd edition just doesn't exist anymore. So it wouldn't make sense to have those staves. So yes, the Staff of Dragons.
It makes me
Beautiful.
sad when people don't know geeky references to things. I posted stuff for sale, and I had a water bottle with the tree from the Return of the King, the Tree of Gondor. And somebody messaged me and said, "How much for the water bottle with the tree on it?" I'm like, "You don't even know what that tree is."
It's okay. They're asking about buying it.
I know, but it's sad when
okay.
they don't know what it is.
And now she's like, if you don't know if you don't know what it is, then
no, it's a sale. It's fine.
Anyway.
Sorry, I just got a message asking about it, and I'm like, really? Go ahead. Sorry.
So then, after we find out about the dragon staff,
You know it exists. There is no indication as to where it is because the journal is contemporary with the war, with the battles itself.
Okay.
The dragon staff was given to a wizard wearing a like a plate armor looking like it was shiny, but it was made of cloth. It's very enchanted.
It's a war wizard.
Pretty much a war wizard.
Does it mention his name?
No, it does not. It does, however, mention the plate cloth armor. It's basically it's cloth armor with the properties of plate. Very enchanted, very rare, one of a kind, and
We could probably go off of that then for some of this.
it does not mention where it or he or the staff or anything disappeared to.
Awesome.
But we do have some sort of lead, some sort of one of a kind thing. What did you just post, Michael?
And considering that we have information on the dragon that encountered 1092, we might be able to find something about a staff of dragons if we pursue that.
Something akin to that, yeah. Only
who
not an open
linked?
chest.
That would be my brother.
Uh-oh. I foresee something bad in your future.
At any rate,
What? See what bad in my future? Who? What? Whose future? There's the question.
what did I tell you?
Uh-oh.
Whose future do you see bad in?
Apparently the dogs.
Oh well.
I told you. You keep attacking that laundry basket, you go to bed. Now you're in bed.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Your dog has a hatred for laundry baskets.
Apparently.
He's a puppy. He's trying to pull the clothing out of the laundry basket. He wants to chew on the clothing. He's not allowed to chew on clothing, and he knows that. But he's doing it anyway because I'm playing D&D and not holding him. At any rate, yeah, you know what I want. You know what I did when he hollered right there?
What?
I walked towards him. Didn't even touch him. Just walked towards him. All that noise because he didn't want me to pick him up and put him in his bed. I haven't even touched you. I know, but if I do this, you won't.
Could you help me with this? Could you help me with this splinter? Ah! I ain't touched it yet.
Anyway, so yeah, you know of the Staff of Dragons. You don't know what it does.
Okay.
You don't know where it is.
Now I want to use whatever this thing is against the dragon because it sounds like it might be helpful.
Remember, it comes with some kind of cost.
Yes.
Presumably, a staff that might summon dragons is costly to you.
I still have vague interest in this staff now.
I spelled a word wrong. There we go.
How dare you? I have hiccups.
Hiccup.
Apparently.
Hiccup.
Well.
Okay.
Yes.
So, that being said, that's
I
about
think-
all you get from that information. Most of it is a very sad tale of a war almost lost by the good guys.
Okay. So then, if that's all the information we're able to glean from it, I would ask Mrs. Plenty if she knows of anything else that her great uncle may have left behind elsewhere, or may
She
have
looks at you
shared with her of the
sidelong.
war.
And she says, "You're not keeping anything."
No, by no means. We're searching for information on a specific subject.
Yes. Perhaps if I knew what the subject was, I might be able to point you in a different direction. You're interested in the old war.
Yes.
There are records all over the place of the old war, artifacts.
We are definitely interested in the artifacts from the old war.
Well, they're scattered in city museums, and some of them are town centerpieces, old arcane cannon and the like. I suppose there is one other thing I could personally show you. I doubt it has any meaning. It's just a trinket, really, a trifle.
Please, absolutely. Anything that you can do to help.
She grabs all of the stuff from you guys and she counts the papers. And then she counts the pages in the journals. And then when satisfied, she puts everything away and relocks the box. Brings that with her. You see her go and put the box away underneath the table right in the house. No big deal, right in the sitting room, underneath a table along the wall that has a plant on it. And then she goes over to an old throw rug that's off in the corner with nothing on top of it. You've seen this throw rug before. It's very peculiar to have one in the corner of the room this size with nothing on it, but there it is. It's just a regular old throw rug. And that's all you've thought about it. That's an odd place for a small throw rug. She moves it, and there is a trap door. She opens the trap door and reaches in, and she pulls out something wrapped in cloth that's about 3 feet long. And she sets it on the table. And
may we see it?
oh, by all means.
And so I'll take the cloth off. And what do we find?
You unravel it, and you find a 3-foot long walking stick.
Huh.
Curious.
But the top of the walking stick, where there would be a ball or handle, seems to have been broken off.
I don't think this is a walking stick.
And she says, oh, he brought this here and told me to keep it safe. It's just an old walking stick, broken. I assume he was going to have it repaired.
Well,
Could I make an Arcana check on it?
Again?
I was about to say, can I do detect magic?
Yeah, both.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, there's Victor.
And detect magic. Do I notice anything on it?
The both of you, this is. It has residual magic on it. In that this is part of a whole.
Okay. And if I use identify,
Yeah. Make sure you're marking these off.
I am the detect magic I can do at will. The identify I have to expend a spell slot.
Yep. The identify identifies this as the bottom half, the non-working half of the broken staff of seeing.
Someone send a
I knew it.
message to the wizard.
I get very excited, and I will let Mrs. Plenty know, ma'am, what you have here is something of great importance.
That whole thing?
If if you wouldn't mind, may I reimburse you? And I would need to deliver this to the capital.
The capital. An
Yes,
old
ma'am.
stick.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I can't say that makes much sense, but I suppose one can't put price on a memory, and he did hand this to us, directly. I suppose I have enough heirlooms to last me a while. Um, what is it? I feel I must know this.
I feel like this would be a better question for Balthasar to answer, not us.
Mm,
Is it wise to inform her?
right, which is
I
why
That's the question in that's the question in
it if
No
if
matter
I
what it might be, the law is the law. It is mine.
right.
If you know what it is, if it's something special, I would know what it is before I were to give it away.
It right. So I'm gonna roll a persuasion here real quick, and then I'll speak out what I'm saying. Um,
ooh.
there
Ooh,
you go.
nice.
So essentially, what I'm going for is, I would say, well, the information that we need to, the information about this item is very sensitive. It is a mission that we have received from the king and his archmage, in order to assist them
Excuse
with
me,
an
young man.
issue. Um,
Excuse me for one moment, young man.
Yep.
Do you think those papers are so well protected because they are old?
Absolutely not. It's more of a memory matter. No, I
That is not exactly the truth. It is not a matter of memory or age, it is a matter of information. He lived through one war and wrote many things about it, including, as you know, a few tactics given by both sides. Should there be another war, a stack of papers like this could be invaluable to either side.
true.
This is why that information is so well kept
Absolutely.
and kept in the most unlikely of places. My farm.
And it's very well kept. I would
I
applaud
feel
you.
that stick you're holding.
Absolutely. I'm just afraid that if we release too much information, it may come back around. It plays to the fact that
Does Baltus know you walk around calling him the King's Wizard?
I don't really think that he cares much one way or the other. However,
he knows
um,
Baltus.
Respect your elders.
however,
Not the King's Wizard. He is himself and his own. He owns by himself. He works with, not for.
I don't suspect that he would care much one way or the other. However, we were aiming more along the lines that your great uncle left the staff with you for the protection. You said that he asked you to guard it. What I would ask is that by further protecting and making sure that it doesn't fall into the wrong hands, we don't release too much information, as we may never know who might be listening.
You tell that old man that I want an explanation in 24 hours.
Absolutely.
Or I'm calling thievery.
Absolutely. He would definitely be better suited for an explanation.
Mm,
I want to get Baltus on the line.
Take it then. Take it, but I best have my explanation. 24 hours or you're all thieves.
Don't we kind of
Hunted
need
by the
him to come
King's
and get it
guard.
anyways?
I'll put money on your heads. What?
Didn't he say to contact him if we learned anything, and he would come and retrieve it?
Yes.
Who has the thing to contact Baltus?
The wizard, surely.
I thought Dane did it last time, didn't he?
He gave us something when he just showed up randomly after his brother showed up, and he gave us something to say. Oh wait, wasn't it like some sort of note parchment thing? We wrote something, or was that the king?
Well,
I'm drawing a blank.
I think Dane.
You can send that paper anywhere.
I think Dane has whatever we retrieved.
That parchment you're given, you can send anywhere.
Hang on. Did we need to give the information to the king or to the wizard?
Wizard.
My
To the
understanding
wizard?
is it would. Yeah, Baltus is the one that's looking for the information.
So whoever has something to contact him, because I know he gave us something.
He gave one of us something. I just don't remember who it was.
You have basically a checkbook-sized flap of parchment. And each one of those pieces of parchment you can write a short message on and send off to any recipient.
All right, well, someone message him and say we
All
found
right,
the bottom
I'm
half
gonna
of
write
the house.
down. I'm gonna write down in Dwarvish. Mr. B, please visit us at Mrs. Plenty's about that thing that you sent us to try to find. We think we have something. Urgent, rush delivery.
Rush delivery.
You go to send that thing off and it goes. But you see it appear in the hand of Mrs. Plenty.
I'm thinking it's because the only name that you put in there was Mrs. Plenty. You didn't put his whole name.
And she starts to cackle. Just cackle. And
oh dear.
Then she stands up and she is much taller than she's supposed to be. Male, gray bearded, long hair.
Oh, son of a bitch.
His hair is all over the place. His beard is unkempt.
Oh man.
Oh, son of a bitch.
And he says, "We're way ahead of you.
Oh my god.
Where the other half is and you don't." Bye bye, and he disappears.
It was
Seriously?
Balthazar.
Of course it was. This is probably the first time I've encountered Balthazar, isn't it?
Yeah, it
Yes.
is.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna
You should
try
have put
again.
Balthazar, not Balthazar. You not.
I'm gonna
Mr.
put
B.
down Baltus. We had a problem with your brother,
And we have part of the staff.
and we are in San Juan.
Do we still have part of the staff?
Yes.
We have it, not him.
Yeah,
Okay,
we
just wanted to
we
make sure.
still got it.
You have half of it, and he says he knows where the other half is.
Bitch.
All right, so that's what I write, and
Can any? Can
You
we
hear
sneak
you
attack?
hear coming through the ether as walking through an arcane portal. You hear the echoing, "Confound it! Confound it! Confound it! My stupid brother!" And he walks in, and he says, "What have you found? What did he say?"
I
Uh,
gesture to Rakala
1092 is just
and take
continuing
5
eating.
steps back.
Oh boy.
1092 is gone back to his pie.
I
Of course he
will
does.
Tell I will relay to Baltus that we have discovered one half of the staff of seeing, and Balthazar apparently was pretending to be Mrs. Plenty, and we didn't realize it, and so we were talking with him for a while, and apparently he knows where the other half is, and he just disappeared.
The other half of what?
The other half of the staff of seeing. We have one half here.
You have the useless half. And he picks it up angrily. And he turns around and he looks at the box under the table. I suppose he figured out how to open that.
That he did.
Now he knows about the dragon staff.
That he does.
I've been doing
Speaking
some
of,
research. The dragon staff is one of the more dangerous ones. It summons a dragon, one, to work for you. Depending on what the need is, it may bring some of its friends. The trouble is, it practically owns you after that. You owe it allegiance for the rest of your life.
To the staff or to the dragon?
To the dragon, of course.
1092 just thinking in the background.
It was used by Crementus, one of the fellow wizards during the war. He owes allegiance to a copper dragon. He's long since dead, but the dragon, of course, is probably still alive. Probably has his armor with him as well. Might be something you ought to look into. Look for a copper dragon named Malnek.
While we have you here, do you know anything of a white dragon by the name of Frostfang?
Yes, Frostfang fought in the war. Why?
Quillthok Frosttooth.
Yeah, Frosttooth.
Frosttooth fought in the war. Oh, I see. You've been researching your past. Yes, so have I.
Oh, really?
I know you. I know where you're from, and I know who you were, and also that you shouldn't be here. I'm quite frankly very happy that you are, being the last of the metal-faced people.
Metal-faced people.
Now look, I've forgotten the name of the dragon I just named.
White tooth.
The copper one or the
the copper
copper
one?
Oh.
You said something with an M.
like Malnek or something?
Yes, Malnek. He would not have the staff, but he might know some information, being that he is the lord of the person who is holding it. And he might know where that armor is, which might suit you. And he puts his finger, like Ricalo, into your chest, like jabs your chest, your sternum hard. And he says, and you might do some good to yourselves if you'd learn to not trust anyone, as I've said. Blast, now that Mrs. Plenty is off somewhere. She might be kidnapped, she might be dead. I'll look into that. You stop bungling things up and go get the staff of water. You seem to know where it is. Go, get out of my face.
It would have been nice if you had mentioned you were looking up me.
Looking up who?
Tonight you just kind of waves like, hello.
Of course I was. You were curious. I thought I might get some information just in case you needed a reward. Well, now you've found it out yourself, and I don't have to give it to you, thank goodness. Because so far, you've done nothing to be rewarded for, except find the useless stick.
Yeah, that stick could still bash
Okay.
someone on the head.
How difficult is it to mend magical items? Like if the other half were to be found and
It can only be done by archmagic. Archmagic or elven magic, the two coincide. Well, in some ways. If you find the other half, get it to me immediately and we can mend the staff.
Okay.
If Baltus knows where it is, he's already after it.
So
He'll get there before you will.
So we'll leave the staff, the walking stick, with you then, and we'll
No kidding.
And we'll be on our way, unless you have any information to relay to us.
None that I can think of. You've heard of a possible whereabouts of the Staff of Water. The more
Yes, we
staff
were
we
on
can
our way
get,
there
there's
now.
no use in chasing after the Staff of Seeing. If Baltus knows where it is, he and his people will collect it long before you will.
We're on our way to the possible location of the Staff of Seeing now, or the Staff of Water now.
And look up that blasted dragon.
Yes, absolutely.
And you, and he points to 1092. Vengeance comes after saving the world. Unless the two coincide, which I highly doubt they do.
I can hope.
Hope all you want. Hope for the sake of our people. Remember, this is a hidden war. This is a wizard's war. It will spread further than just this corner, like the last war. Like a plague it will spread. With all manner of unsavory creatures, covering the world if we're not careful. The city with no name, your so-called home, will not exist. Neither will the northern woods, the western desert, anything. I may be immortal, but that does not mean I can't be killed. It just means I can't die of old age. And yes,
Then I
even
suggest
I
you get
worry
to
for my own life in this war.
Then I suggest you get to work.
I suggest you get to work.
Dwarfwig's
Wow.
trying to
I
get
do not
smoked.
like this wizard.
And when
I-
he
I-
says, I suggest you get to work, his face goes pale like the dead. His eyes sink in. His lips turn purple. And the finger he's stretching out to you, his fingers elongate, and he looks like this gigantic undead thing bigger than you. And
Creepy.
he touches you, and you start to rust.
Good job.
All
Pissed off
over.
the wizard.
Oh dear God.
And then when he lets you go, he goes back to normal. And so do you. And then he bamps off.
I hate.
But we're losing people.
yeah, I just refreshed my cam.
Yeah, me too.
I hate that wizard.
Actually, Devin, you fell off completely.
Yeah, I'm refreshing my cam. Anyway,
Because Eastleigh said that 1092 is very annoyed right now.
So I would suggest to the rest of the party, let's be on our way. He said that he was gonna find out what happened to Mrs. Plenty, and he'd look into that. So we should head out. Yeah, that just
Time to get the
happened.
staff of
I
water.
don't like him.
We gather.
As you guys are popping in, he comes out, just bamps back out, and he slowly goes over to the case and he picks it up and he looks at you and he says, I have an unfortunate task for you.
Uh-oh.
Oh dear.
Oh, good.
I'll deal with the animals, bringing them to the other farms. Burn this place. Burn it to the ground. And then he bamps off again.
What happened to the chest?
He grabbed it.
How do we explain this one to the townsfolk?
Yeah.
Scare the animals. Unlock over.
Well,
Oh,
if
yeah,
he's
just
if
secure
he's
the animals.
moving
We're
the
not gonna deal
animals,
with
then
the
I'm sure
people.
he's gonna have some warning to the townsfolk that the building's got to be destroyed. I'm hoping he would do that.
Well, does he mean just the building or the town?
He said burn this building to the ground, not
He
the
said
town.
this place.
He said this place.
That could mean the
I'm
town.
going to make the assumption that he's only referring to the town. I mean, to the building. because
Burn the town.
because I would like to believe that he did not mean the town, and I'm not willing at this point in time to burn down a town.
I'm also here for just burning down the.
Does this give us free reign to look at the building for anything useful?
Not a bad idea.
Yeah, I'll take a look around, see if there's anything that we can use, gold, any magical items. I've still got my detect magic on.
There's not much in the way of magic items, but you do find about 250 gold pieces stashed here, there, and everywhere.
Ooh.
Okay.
Let's not give to the drunk wizard.
Yeah, no gold for the wizard.
I think that I like that we refer to him as the drunk wizard now.
Yes.
Anything else
Or
as
just
far as supplies are concerned? I mean, it depends on what you want. I mean, it was an old lady. She's got things like, blankets and bedding and pillows and, that kind of stuff for, maybe if you're traveling in the winter months. And of course, she's got a pantry full of food stuff. So a lot of it'll go bad after time, but there's some dried meat, some cheeses,
Yeah,
stuff that'll last.
Probably stock on rations.
Yeah,
There's
stock
a
up on
lot here
rations.
as far as general supplies are concerned. But if you think about it, there's also a lot of furniture and stuff like that it depends on whether you want to burn the place as a shell or take the stuff out and give it to the townsfolk, or just he didn't give you any instructions except burn the place to the ground. He didn't say don't loot it. He didn't say don't, it depends on what you guys want to do. There's a lot here. It's a farmhouse that is fully furnished.
Wait, isn't this Miss Plenty's place though?
It is.
Yes, it's Mrs. Plenty's place.
Is there any?
What if she's still alive and she comes
dead, or
back?
Where is she?
You don't know. All you know is that Baltus himself told you to burn the house down, and when he came back from saying he was going to find out where she was, he looked unhappy and took her great uncle or whatever's case.
And said that he had an unfortunate task for us.
Yeah,
to
and
burn
said
the
he had an
place to the ground.
unfortunate task for you, and that was to burn the place to the ground.
I say we burn it.
Rinse it with some holy water first.
Okay.
I'll go down towards the basement, see if there's any fresh turned earth or anything like that.
No, it's when you go to the basement, it's basically storage and a little bit of some casks of ale and a few bottles of wine. There's really not much down there.
I'll grab a couple bottles of wine.
Okay.
Of course
Only
you
like
do.
3 or 4.
Drunk wizard.
But the 250 gold, I assume we split that up about 45 a piece, if my math is right. 6 of us. No, it'd be 40 a piece for 250. My math might be off on that. We'll figure it out in a minute. But
Yeah,
yeah,
40.
I'll grab a couple of bottles of wine.
It's, divided by 6 is 41.666666666.
All right.
So just drop it down to 41 and call it good.
Okay. And the couple bottles of wine, and we'll stock up on any dried goods, rations, jerky, that kind of thing that'll last us a while.
There's salted, preserved meats in the pantry.
Yep.
Like I say, there's some cheeses. Cheese lasts forever. If it's wrapped well enough, bread can last a couple of weeks.
Yep.
And
And
the pantry is practically full.
Okay.
Is there anything like in the way of rope or?
Oh yeah, this is a farm, so there's like rope for animals. There's farm equipment as far as like size and pitchforks and rakes and hoes and forget the size and pitchforks. We'll just go with the hose.
Wow.
I was
Do
trying
we
to
grab
make
some-
Michael do a spit take. He didn't get it. But anyway,
Well, I didn't hear it.
all right. So then, if you said there were no magical items or not many?
no, there's not really any. I
No.
mean, you find a spoon that has a magical aura.
A spoon.
A spoon.
A spoon.
Yeah, a spoon. Yeah.
Okay,
That's weird.
I'll use an identifier just to see what it's on it.
It is. I don't remember the name of it. Dane, maybe you know or remember this item. It is a wooden spoon that, when put into a bowl, creates a kind of gruel.
Nope, drawing a blank.
Might be the spoon of plenty. Let me.
Mrs. Plenty had a
Yeah.
spoon of
Owned
plenty.
by Mrs. Plenty. Anyway.
Sustaining spoon.
Okay.
An unremarkable eating utensil, typically fashioned from horn, not wood. I'm sorry. If the spoon is placed in an empty container, the vessel fills with a thick, pasty gruel. Although the substance has a flavor similar to that of warm, wet cardboard, it is highly nourishing.
That's
and
not
contains
appealing at
everything
all.
Necessary to sustain any herbivore, omnivore, or carnivorous creature. The spoon can produce a sufficient gruel each day to feed up to 4 humans.
Okay. So I'll stash that. And then let's get
Torch
to
it.
burning, I guess. I'll use a firebolt. I pile a couple of chairs and a bit of bedding. And
Now remember, this is a farm, so there is
hay and
oil
yeah.
lanterns all over the place, and there's hay, and there's all kinds of fuel.
Right,
Would it
but
make more sense to make it look like an accident? Just knock over a lantern and
Yeah, I like that
yeah,
idea.
That's kind of what I was looking at. Trying not to purposefully,
Do we have a way to make ourselves invisible so we can walk away from the whole thing without being seen?
For all of you to go invisible would take a wizard invisibility spell for multiple people, and I think that's a higher level.
Oh,
It
okay.
is. Unfortunately, I can do it for myself.
But remember, Baltus did say that he was going to take care of the animals and make sure that they went to other people. So it's not like this is unplanned.
well,
Right.
if Riccardo can make himself invisible, surely the rest of us could leave, and then he burns the place down and makes himself invisible and leaves.
I can't use minor illusion in any way, can I?
No.
No.
That would work.
He just
if-
said
if
no.
Is there
they
any way
all-
we could delay the fire? Like, could you leave a
Not really.
fireball?
Well, not all of us needs to be here to start the fire. If Devin has
Only
the
one of us
ability
needs to get
to
away.
start a fire and be invisible, then he could go in and do it himself and get out without being seen, and we'll just go away and hide in the
Right,
distance.
For the sake of time, because we're already at 9:06.
Yep.
Let me put it to you exactly the way that it was meant to be said. Well, let me tell you what he meant instead of what he said. He is taking care of the animals, bringing them to other homes, which means he is emptying the farm. He's given you the task of burning it to the ground so that nobody else can come here, ransack the place, and try and look for anything useful.
like we just did. Okay.
It
Fair
would
enough.
be. It would seem as if it's something that he would be preparing the townsfolk for.
Okay. So then we don't need to worry about the whole invisibility, sneaky thing.
Right.
Got you.
You don't have to worry
Um,
about being sneaky about it.
Okay. So
you gather each of you has enough intelligence to be able to gather that Baltus isn't going to just burn down the major part of a small town or the major home of a small town without telling anybody first.
okay.
Okay.
So then we'll throw a couple of lanterns down for the oil and spread it around. Spread out some blankets, whatever, for fuel, and I'll
Well, if
throw
it's a
couple
barn,
of
it's full of
firebolts
hay. I
in,
think there's enough fuel.
and
Are you
Well-
stretching or do you have something to say, Michael?
I forgot to hit the mic. I was saying sprints the holy water.
Yeah.
Just
and I'll
Doing
throw
a
a couple
prayer
of
and stuff.
firebolt in and burn the place down. And yeah,
Okay.
he'll be saying a prayer for the place and our
Don't worry, I saved the pie.
Oh my god.
Thank you, 1092.
It's an old building, so pretty much the minute that fire starts, it spreads the oil that you spread on the floor. Then it spreads out to carpets, or not carpets, drapes, which go up like you wouldn't believe. Furniture starts to catch on fire. The whole place is going to be in flames in a matter of minutes.
Okay.
I don't imagine we want to stick around to see this burn to the ground, do we?
well, I gotta finish the prayer.
Yeah, we'll wait for Grandius to finish his prayer. I'll crack a bottle of wine and toast Mrs. Plenty and say I'm sorry for your I'm sorry for everything.
When you leave the building and get far enough away to be out of the collapse zone, you feel a buzz pass through you. And you turn around and you basically, especially Ricallo, going through it, you turn around, and Grandius, you as well. There is some sort of arcane barrier up to keep the fire from spreading.
Okay, good. So then I would relay that to the rest of the team. Baltus is taking care of the issue with the fire spreading, so we don't need to worry. We should be on our way to the east to see if we can locate the next item.
Do fire tick off.
Do fire tick off. Thanks, Michael. Minecraft.
Also, you notice that the whole town is out there practically. It's a small town, so there aren't many people. There's a lot of tears. Nobody's blaming any of you. You're all being thanked You do hear one person grumble about, the nice furniture and the food and the, whatever.
Were they there for the? Were they there for the prayer or?
Yeah, they were there for the prayer.
Okay.
They were there before you guys came out.
Just wanted to make sure that if anybody wanted to join in, they could have.
But the person that's grumbling about all that is pretty well shushed very quickly by the rest of the people standing around them.
Okay.
And as you go to leave town, you notice that on your horse that is attached to the cart, there is an arcane symbol on the thigh, up towards the rump.
Yep.
Mildly
Got it. One more identify.
Okay. Anyone who is on this cart or who holds the reins of the horse, if you're on another horse, you can once per day teleport to a location big enough for everyone.
Oh, shit.
Cool.
Holy
That's
crap.
once a day. And the horse has to live. So if the horse dies, then you no longer have a teleportation wagon.
Got you. I wasn't sure.
Also, when you all get into the cart or get near it, there is a similar symbol inside the cart. Horse and cart go together.
Okay.
The horse can't go by itself. The cart can't go by itself. The horse has to be hooked up to the cart for this to work.
This is just strange magic, but okay.
I am the DM. I create spells.
I like it.
This is a magical, dangerous world. I'm about to kill you, so get on with it.
Okay. So then I would relay that to the team and recommend that we.
One more thing. Just because I like the movie Back to the Future, you have to be galloping in order for it to work.
Okay.
At 88 feet per second.
Yes.
So would we all need to be in the cart? Because if I remember right, there was a weight limit, wasn't there?
The people you can get in the cart, or if you're riding a horse or a flying broom,
Woot woot.
you can hold on to the reins.
Okay.
Or hold on to the
Card itself.
The cart itself, or the tongue and whatever. What do you call that shit that hooks up the horse to the cart?
Harness.
The yoke.
The yolk, yes.
That.
The eggs, the yolk. I had scrambled eggs and steak today for breakfast. It was amazing.
Oh my word.
Made it myself. Anyway.
Where the hell do we want to go to? Well, let's put this to the test. Where the hell did we want to go to get the
It was that little like port area, military port that we docked in before going up to the capital. That's where we'd be heading now.
Okay.
All right.
Let's test this out.
Who's driving?
Not me.
I am, because I'm proficient with land vehicles.
Make a roll.
There's a proficiency for that?
Yes, there is.
Dev, you need to refresh your camera again. You're still not showing.
Alright, fine.
Okay, hold on.
I have never used
What do I roll?
Other proficiency.
Just roll a d20, add your animal handling. Animal handling isn't in this version. Is it?
It's going to be a skill and then my proficiency.
Yeah, it's going to be a skill and then your proficiency. I'm just trying to think of what skill, because this one doesn't have.
Usually it's going to fall under
Animal
strength,
handling's a
dex,
thing.
Yeah,
con.
We have animal handling.
Oh, animal handling. But that doesn't go with.
It is a wagon.
It's wisdom.
Yeah,
Is animal
so
handling.
it would be your animal handling, but you add your proficiency. Well, no, it'd be land vehicles.
What about performance? No?
No, that you're proficient in land vehicles, which means when you make a roll that has to do with a land vehicle, you add your proficiency. But in this case, you're also dealing with an animal, which in all land vehicles you would be. I don't understand that. I don't understand how that works. That's one thing I have not.
How about just have him roll a d20 plus his proficiency?
Well, he has to have a skill.
Well, I
Well,
would.
animal
Wisdom,
handling.
wisdom. Yeah, do animal
handling.
handling with proficiency.
So okay, so just add 2 to whatever this is. Ready? 9.
9.
Okay. Okay.
9.
You have some trouble getting the horse to want to run at top speed.
It's like it knows what we're trying to do and it doesn't like.
Right.
Doesn't want to do it.
So you can. I'm going to say you can try again, but tell me what you're doing differently, because it's a sign of insanity to try the same thing over and over and over again and hope that it'll work.
Yeah, I would basically in Dwarvish try to say something soothing to the horses to calm them down, trying to ensure them that as we're about to do this, it's just like any other ride, we'll be fine.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
Wait, we have a druid.
Yeah, I was going to
What are
say,
we
we have a
doing?
druid that could talk to them.
Yeah, we literally have a druid.
I don't have proficiency in land.
No, but you
No,
can
in
roll
animal
it.
handling.
You could talk to the horse to calm her down.
Basically, what we're saying is, if you say yes, I would like to assist, and this is how. Not only does he get his proficiency, but he also gets advantage. You don't have to roll anything.
I mean, I could perform a ritual to be able to literally speak to the horse and tell it.
You
we're
can
gonna
already
try and
speak to
teleport you.
animals. Druids can
Ritual
speak to
casting
animals.
takes what, 10 minutes?
Yeah, that sounds.
I
about right.
thought as a druid you could just talk to animals.
No, you have to actually
Not
cast
how-
a spell.
Oh, my other DM does it different.
You could technically use a spell slot and cast it instantly too.
That's true.
If I have it prepared, which
You might need to start having this one prepared.
Well, I'll allow the ritual, and with the ritual, I'll give Dane the advantage. There you go.
Yay.
So an 18 total.
The
Much
horses
better.
seem to understand. Okay, this is not just something weird that they've put on my butt. And they, Victor, the horses kind of give you, and I'll do this, but I'm kind of frightened. And
sorry, what did you just say? I missed one.
you start to go, and you get up to speed, and there's this sort of
Cat butt.
purple, blue, swirling kind of Doctor Who kind of thing in front of you.
Oh dear.
And you come out on the road just before the military docking area, the port.
Are there flames on the ground behind the cart?
Yes,
track?
please be
Of
flaming
course there
horse
are.
hooves. Please
That's
be flaming
awesome.
horse hooves.
There are flaming cart marks back in town.
That's great.
And people are wondering what the heck that was.
So now
The
she was now
horse
probably.
pulling the cart
A1092.
Yeah.
really liked that.
Brings new meaning to the word coming. in
Devin,
hot.
do not sit there and eat all that pie. We need that for Thursday.
It's all right. I can't see the. I don't see the. The
Devin?
The,
Save
streams
pie for
anyway, so-
Thursday. I'm not making any more.
I don't see
What?
the.
Is
I
Thanksgiving
said
this Thursday?
don't no, we
No.
have ours early. Don't eat all that pie. That has to last till Thursday. I'm not making more pies for Thursday. What we
Okay,
have is what we're
I'm-
having for
I'm not-
Thursday.
I'm not eating all of it.
I know you. You
Okay.
were going to. You shouldn't be eating it out of the pan. Other people have to eat out of that too, you know.
We're talking about a drunk wizard here, all right?
Speaking of which, your ale is on the counter there, darling.
No, it's not.
Oh, you got it.
Yes,
Okay.
We already got to it.
Just making sure you remembered. See, he really is a drunk
West
wizard.
Texas town of El Paso. I fell in love with a Mexican girl. What are you guys doing?
So the horse liked that, huh?
Yes, the horse enjoyed that.
That's
The
weird.
druid is the only one that knows.
So
I
we're
convey that the horse enjoyed the trip to everyone.
I'm not
that's
very
good. We'll probably have to do it many times. So we're at the port. What time of day is it?
You are coming into the port, yes.
And what time of day is it?
Well, you teleported. You got in there this mid-morning. Probably took you a couple of hours in Mrs. Plenty's.
Probably early afternoon.
So you're in, early afternoon.
So do we want to go down and see if we can find somebody that has a boat to rent, right? We're looking for a boat to rent.
Now we need not only this, but we need someone crazy enough
Yes.
to go all the way out here because there might be something that's going to try killing us.
Captain Morgan.
No, we're not playing with Captain Morgan.
I mean, the wizard might.
Should always plays with Captain Morgan.
Captain Morgan sounds like a very good captain. I vote for Captain Morgan.
No.
You would.
Always trust in the cocaine.
Wait, what?
What?
I forget who that's from. Who was it? I forget.
That's a clown, isn't it?
No, it's a YouTube channel.
Oh.
He does D&D. He does D&D things, and it's just they were going
Well,
on a shit.
he might have gotten it from a clown on Death
I know.
Clock.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know what you're referring to. It's the Adult Swim TV show.
Yeah, Death Clock. The show isn't called Death Clock. The band is. But anyway.
Do we all want to go down to the docks together?
Yep, going down to the docks.
Okay.
There is a way to get a horse cart down there.
I
Okay.
think we would probably have to go to the tavern first and see if there's any way to procure a captain.
There is no tavern. This is not a town.
It's a
Oh,
port.
it's just a port, right?
Okay. Are there any boats docked down there?
Many of them.
Many of them. Okay.
Which
Is
one of
there
them- how
like
many
somebody
of
in
them-
charge of the docks?
Like a
There is a dock master. Yes, there is a burly, very black-skinned, no hair, no shirt.
Oh, yeah, he's the one that came out of the thing earlier when we were dealing with the gnolls, wasn't he?
pretending to be all tough after we
He
had
dealt
already
with the gnolls.
captured him. Yeah, I remember.
Okay, so we
It's the
could
same
go
one,
over to
I thought
him
that was in a
and
different place.
No, it's this place. Wait, no, it was a different place. Because
Down
that-
south
that-
somewhere.
that was before we left on the ship. That happened with the gnolls.
Yeah, this is a different guy.
Right. But in any case, what is he? When we encounter him,
I
we
go
will
over to
ask
him and I ask him if anybody has anybody that's at the docks, if they do commissioned
Rent.
trips, I guess is what
Rentals.
you'd call it. Well, no, we don't want to. But yes, if
Yeah,
we could
charters.
charter a boat, if there's anybody that goes out to the deep part.
The deep to where?
I look at Dane. Where are we
Where's
going
more
again?
specific?
Well, you guys know what you're looking for.
Okay.
right.
I tell him.
We Well, we'd point to a location on the map and just say like this general area. We'd be interested in doing some deep sea diving.
I don't think they know what deep sea diving is.
Looking for the dragon turtle?
Dragon turtle.
Yeah, we've heard some stories. Yes.
That's his territory. There's only one ship crazy enough to fish out there. And he points to a tiny little two-masted brig. And it is painted blue and black. The sails are painted dark purple, or dyed dark purple. And the name in gold on the bow is Swifty.
Swifty.
Really?
Get
Not with an SH.
Swifty.
Aw.
Ah.
I thought we were making a reference. Anyway, so I would thank the dock master, and I guess we would approach the captain of the ship to ask him about.
You can approach the ship.
Okay, well,
They don't let you on board without permission.
right, which we would be approaching the captain to get.
Captain's on the
permission.
ship.
Okay,
We
so then we
approach
would
the ship.
ask the crew for
Word with the
a
captain.
word with the captain.
You go down the docks. When you go to this little brig, and there's some hustle and bustle around it. Goods being taken off, stuff being brought on. And you see standing up by the wheel is an insanely old person.
Oh dear.
We're talking so thin he's just bones. Hair, maybe. There might be some there. He's got patches of gray, straggly, stringy facial hair that might have been a beard at one point.
Oh dear.
He doesn't have all of his teeth. And he glances in your direction. Huh?
Obviously.
He glances in your direction. And he puts his hands on the railing up near, because he's up near the helm. And he says, "Oh, I see. I see. I see people. I see people that aren't supposed to be here. You people that aren't supposed to be here. What do you want?"
We're looking for the captain of the Swifty.
Captain of the Swifty. Captain of the Swifty's been dead 20 years. The new captain. He's alive.
Oh, okay.
You can speak to him.
The current captain, yes.
The current captain. Oh no. Oh no. Captain wasn't taken by the current. Eaten by a shark he was.
Oh my god.
The captain of the Swifty at this present time, yes. Please.
Oh. Well, he's below.
Okay, thank
One
you.
of you speak. The rest of you, stay put.
Dane, you want to take this?
We just kind of push Dane.
Right.
All back up
You're-
to the captain.
Go, fearless leader, go.
Well, yeah.
You walk up the gangplank.
Enjoy your time.
The old man comes down on feet and hands, all fours, scurries head first down the stairs, and comes over to you again, scurrying on all fours. Very agile, very fast, walking almost spider-like.
That's weird.
And he comes up to you and he does this handstand, and then goes down onto his feet and stands up straight. And he's looking at you and he says, "Over there, there's a stair. And beneath that, there's another one. And so on. That'll get you below."
All right, and that's where the current captain is. The captain that's in charge of this vessel now.
The captain is in charge of this vessel now, yes.
And that's where
What do you
he'll be.
do it? Down there.
I would just
Alright.
okay.
Thank you.
Wait, why are you saying thank you? We're not on the boat.
As I walk down the stairs, I'm going to make sure that I am making enough noise that someone knows I'm coming down the stairs.
Yeah. When you get down there, you see a young man wearing an obvious captain's type garb. He is, your swashbuckling, dashing, debonair Han Solo, but younger, and he turns around and he looks at you. He's got the dark eyes and the dark hair that's, well, well cut. And he's got the goatee that's well cut, just comes to a little bit of a point. And he's got the cocked eyebrow and the crooked smile, and
God damn it.
Every time you come
sword
back
at
to the
his side,
camera,
gun
you
at
have
his other-
something
and
different
pistol at his
on.
other side. And he looks at you and he goes, "Ah, may I help you? I heard. Well, I heard you were coming."
Well, I wasn't being quiet about it.
Neither was Scurvy, but he's never quiet.
His
That's
name's
gotta be-
Scurvy.
That's his nickname. He's forgotten his real name, and quite frankly, I don't care to know it.
All right. Well, my
Needless
name
to
is
say, I keep him on board because without him, I swear I'd be sunk.
all right. My name is Dane Frostbeard, and I travel with a group of adventurers. We're looking to go on an aquatic excursion.
No, I'm always happy to help adventurers. I do it all the time for some coin, of course.
I, I'd bring out the map and point out the location of where we're going. We've been told you're the only ones able to go into the waters where
The
we're.
only one's crazy enough to go to the Dragon Turtles territory. Yes, we have been branded as crazy to go there. But, when you know a guy, and I
Well,
happen to know a guy,
All right. What should we be aware of as we will be diving into the waters once we get out there?
well, because of the Dragon Turtle, it's quite the graveyard out there. Many, many, many sunken ships. Of course, I wouldn't worry too much about surface boats. It is quite deep there, and there's nothing to hit as far as we are concerned. But you'll have to be careful of getting lost. It's quite the maze of broken ships, depending, of course, on which one you're looking for. Um, there's a king's ransom of treasure down there, from what I've told. I mean, smaller treasures on various ships, but all coming, all told, as much as a king's ransom.
All
But
right.
like I said, I mean, there's a lot of people that go down there that don't come back, and this isn't just fish stories. I'm not trying to scare you. I wouldn't do that.
All right. Do you have any fishing nets on board your ship?
Oh, of course.
How deep
That's
can
our
you
primary function is fishing for the kingdom, but charter is always fun.
How far down would you be able to drop your nets, and how far down would be before we actually hit some trouble with these broken boats?
Well, you see, that's the real trick. Because of the dragon turtle, we don't fish out there. But I would say I could drop a net a few 100 feet before I snagged any ships.
All right. I would say let's try to get the net dropped down about 50 to 100 feet above where the shipwrecks are. We're going down to find some things. We will attempt, as you said, there's the king's ransom worth of treasure down there. We'll attempt to grab some more things that maybe we're not looking for. Would that possibly serve as payment for your wages and your assistance?
Should you find anything? I mean, if we're going to do this on a basis of if you find something, then I'll need something set up as collateral. I mean, what if you find nothing?
No, no, that's true. Uh, what uh, what would you look for payment, and what would be required as a deposit?
Well, I mean,
Sorry.
the main question is how many are coming?
Aye.
And the other question is, to what end, really? I mean, if you're there fishing for a certain specific treasure, that's one thing. If you're there searching for just plain treasure, that's something else. As far as the nets, you have to understand that I cannot drop nets. I can
Well,
drop lines. I can.
I
Drop,
was
I can drop
I
anchor.
was the reason I was asking for dropping the nets is so that we could toss things into the net for it, make it easier for you to haul things up.
Yeah, that would be the lines. I would drop a line with a weight on it, and you would tie whatever you have to the line.
All right, that would work better.
If I drop nets, I am sure to be attacked. Nobody fishes the dragon turtle's territory. And even
Alright.
though the nets are not there for fish, that is their primary function.
All right. Well, I would say we drop 3 lines in
3
the
lines
intent
is
of
fine.
retrieving treasure. 6
The dragon
travelers.
turtle doesn't care about the treasure. As a matter of fact, he wants it gone.
All right.
Rumor has it.
Six passengers, adventurers.
Oh, that's a standard adventuring group. Let me guess. You're a dwarf. You must have an elf.
2.
You've probably got a cleric of some kind.
Aye.
That's your basic needs. You probably have a thief. Now, if you do, I'd say, because most adventuring groups do, we are going to have to watch the sticky-fingered little thing.
Well, nope, no thief in our group.
Oh, really?
But
The
drunk,
wizard.
How refreshing.
drunken
The
wizard.
wizard. Absolutely
A
the
drunken
wizard.
Well,
Just
he'll
the
fit
drunk
with the
wizard.
crew anyway.
Just the drunk wizard.
You aren't
Grondius
there.
isn't there. Shh.
No, I know. I have to say, we're just all confirming. We don't have a thief. We just have a drunk wizard.
That
No.
likes shiny things.
As I say, at least the drunk wizard will fit in with the crew. If we're going out to Dragon Turtle territory, I'm going to have to dole out a few extra mugs of whiskey.
That's understandable.
Hey.
Yes, there's some suspicion. Not suspicion. What do you call it?
Superstition?
Superstition. That's the one. Of the Dragon Turtles territory. But as I say, I know a guy. So.
All right. What's your cost?
Oh, that's right. Let's see. 6 people. Extra whiskey. Dragon
6
Turtle territory.
People,
Are we gonna have to take our cart and our horses on the ship with us, or is there a place we're gonna be able to stow those?
I would say find a place to store them.
Because we're just at a port. It's not.
Yeah, we would find a
Location
Fair.
to
Well, it's a port,
store them
yes, but there's got to be
fairly.
some. But if this is used
There is a stables because the
Oh,
port
okay.
has caravans or carts that go to and from carrying
Oh,
men and
okay.
goods.
Got it.
I was about to say, it's like it has to have some sort of station.
Yeah, we've used stables in the past and paid for them.
Okay.
Yeah,
So that's no big deal.
as far as as far as that's concerned, just for the sake of expediency, the arcane mark on your horse also gives you one other perk. There are people around here who know who put that mark on your horse. They're not about to charge one of Baltus's horses
Oh.
for food, water, and lodging. Even though it's not his horse, it has his marking.
Interesting.
What about the second horse?
Companion.
Okay.
Probably marks us as on a quest for Balthus, and they're not going to allow us to. Our coin's not good.
Your coin
My
is not
broomstick
good
is with me.
He's got his broomstick. I wonder if it works underwater.
Except
Can it float over water?
yes.
Well, here's the question: does it work underwater? He could use it as a propulsion device.
No.
Oh,
I'm just happy that I get to
It-
hover over water.
Yeah, it would be a good idea to take with us because, as you said, we would be able to hover over water, and if we encounter this dragon turtle thing close enough to the surface, we might be able to encounter it while we're still on the boat. Be a good idea to be able to float above the water. And
Gonna pull off some
if
Harry Potter
somebody-
shit.
If somebody goes jumping in the water again, 1092, then we can actually get over to him fast enough to recover him.
The captain says, "Well, 6 passengers. I mean, we are going to dragon turtle territory, so I will have to put on a little bit more than normal for a normal charter because, of course, the extra whiskey isn't cheap. So I will. I know this sounds very expensive, but would 100 gold be too much per person?"
Yeah, I think that's something we can make happen.
It is deadly territory. It's not just the
Yeah.
dragon turtle we have to worry about, but his foes and
All
other
right,
things. Sharks.
100 gold per person.
100 gold per
Whatever
person. And
whatever treasure we salvage, that is not something we intend to keep. You are entitled to collect the 600 gold from the treasure directly, or 10% above the amount for what we find as well.
so 600 gold from the treasure plus 10%.
Well, if the gold does not cover the 600 gold, we're gonna pay you the additional out of pocket.
Ah,
You see, like let's say we only find 100 gold worth of treasure, then we would give you that and the 500 gold for anything we don't intend to keep.
I see.
But
I see.
anything that is not what we're looking for specifically, yeah, above the 600 gold, you'd keep 10% for yourself.
That sounds reasonable. Um, if you find nothing and
Six-
can't pay me out of pocket, what are you putting up for collateral? Because
Well,
I'm assuming
oh.
this is payment after the trip is done.
No, we can put down a deposit to start, and we do have the gold to cover all 6 of us as needed.
Oh, I see.
No, the funds is fine. We can afford that. That's not a problem. It's more so that what it'll cost. We're trying to utilize the treasure as a means to not have to pull out of our own pockets,
Yes, that's great.
and an opportunity for you to pull in a little extra on this.
That never hurts. Considering if I'm bringing treasure into my hold, there's a possibility that my crew is gonna want to cut.
Aye.
Yeah.
So this is how we'll do. 3 lines in the water. We'll tie what we can to it. We will tug on the rope 3 times means send it back down. 2 times means pull it up, don't send it back down.
All right. Apparently, Grandius has gone off camera and off mic to.
he is now claiming to be a crazy. He is now partially being consumed by greed.
No, not the cleric. The cleric is fine. Every other piece of my being is saying that.
Oh,
He
so
is
the
his
cleric,
father's
the,
son.
the cleric of you is being fine. The treasure is this and that. The rest of you is just it's all mine. Whatever I find, it's mine. Mine.
But like I
Alright.
said, he is his father's son, and the captain is
Um,
now thinking, how much of a cut do I get?
When will you be able to weigh anchor?
Oh, I'm all set to go whenever. We were just charting a simple fishing trip, but this is much more exciting.
All
All
right.
right. I'll go let the rest of my people know it's time to come on board. We'll grab what we need. And
He's a bit crazy, but will you inform Scurvy of our new coordinates, of our new job?
all right, yeah,
Our new
absolutely,
voyage. Just let him know so that he can tell the crew.
we'll do. I'll head out, find Scurvy, give him the details of what I feel is need to know.
Yep.
Captain's agreed terms and payment. This is where we're going. This is what we're doing. I need my people on the ship. We're heading up.
Okay.
Yeah.
He swiftly starts people a going, almost
I'll-
as if he is the bosun, but he's
And I'll walk out to the gangplank and say, "All right, I've negotiated the terms. We'll go over that momentarily.
Okay.
Everyone on board. We're leaving soon."
And we take the
would go to
horses and carriage to the stable.
And yeah,
Yeah,
I would
we'll-
assume that was already taken care of.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have taken care of that ahead of time.
we'll pay the what 20 gold to store the horse.
No,
He
just
just
said
said
that
it was
the-
free.
the-
Pay attention.
Oh, I didn't hear that part.
What
Anyway,
I had said that because Baltus put his mark on the horse,
yep, they would
this
assume
is a
that
quest
it
from
was-
Baltus, so the stables that is attached to the port, which is attached to the capital city, your money's no good here.
Okay.
Well,
They won't take it.
He's too busy eating his pie. He doesn't hear nothing.
The ship,
No.
on the other hand, the boats are a different story
Right.
because you're taking storage space to store yourself and your stuff, and you're
Should
also
have had
putting them
both
on
us
a
put the
mission
mark
that
on us.
They wouldn't have gone on.
Right.
yes, put a private mark on all of us, and we'll just be able to teleport around the map freely. That's a lovely idea.
Okay.
Once
So
a day, and there may be consequences.
Oh dear.
so then once we stash the horse in the cart, then we'd be heading off on our way. Taking off with the boat.
Oh dear, deep ocean. I'm not sure how 1092 is going to handle this.
At
We're
this
gonna have to do a
point,
sea check.
I would have all of us put the rings on.
Yep.
1092 does need a ring.
Wait, why do?
He does.
It
Yeah,
allows
he
you not
needs
to
the
feel
ring.
the pressure of being underwater.
He
Oh,
needs the
gotcha.
ring, not the starfish.
Oh. Also going to need to find a way to prevent rust because salt and water doesn't go together.
And we will not be
Salt and
using the
iron.
starfish until we are about to dive in the water because it
We-
takes 10 minutes and those things are dead out of the water. So we're not going to have them out of the water for more than 10 minutes.
Right.
Not looking forward to that part.
Yeah.
Grandius has got some ketchup.
I got honey mustard.
If you're having trouble getting the ketchup out of the bottle, what you do is you hold the bottle, make sure the bottle is tightly closed, hold the bottle from the furthest point from where the spout is, and you circle your arm around in a large circular motion, and the centripetal force will actually pull all of the ketchup to the opening of the bottle, which is why it's important to have it closed. And then when you pop it open, it'll pour out easily.
Why'd you have to tell me to keep it closed? It'd been really funny to watch.
Tip it upside down. There you go.
Hold it by the tips of your fingers facing straight down. Like
Nope,
at your
other
side.
end.
Nope.
Other end.
Nope. Stand up. Stand up for a moment.
D&D tutorial of how to use a ketchup bottle.
Nope. Stand straight up. Arm at your side. That's gonna be holding the ketchup bottle. Arm straight down. Grab the very bottom of the bottle with your hand.
Michael, pretend you're a fire dancer.
And that, yep, now you're going to spin your arm in a circular motion toward the ceiling and the ground. Nope, above your head and back around. Yep, that's just like that. Don't drop the ketchup. But
Michael,
keep doing
jump
it.
rope and the
Takes a
ketchup.
couple tries. Spin, 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 spin.
Where in the heck did you learn this?
In my science class, it was one of the few things I remember from biology. All the ketchup is now where you can get to it easily.
Oh my god, it worked!
Yeah.
Oh,
See,
wait, why is
Let's
that
see you
biology
go
and
in a
not physics?
restaurant and do that now.
fifth
Because
grade,
my biology teacher was friggin' crazy. He taught us how to distill alcohol, how to get ketchup to the bottom of the ketchup bottle.
What does this have to do with biology?
Centrifugal
That
force.
guy was crazy.
Okay then.
fifth grade.
My
I was
physics
taught that
teacher taught me my biology teacher.
That was in high school. That was a high
was-
school science teacher.
I was taught that trick in fifth grade because in fifth grade we switched from our regular class over to the other fifth grade class because we had two, and that was how we did.
Is it bad or
Because
good?
one fifth grade teacher was better at science than social studies, and the other was better at social studies than science. So when it came to those two subjects, we just switched rooms.
Weird.
and Mr. Bachman, my 5th grade science teacher, put a bunch of water in the bottom of the
Tastes like
bucket.
a frozen
He said,
meatball
I'm going to
that
get you
didn't
all
get
wet.
cooked thoroughly, or it got
And then he
overcooked.
spun the thing. Of course, none of us got wet.
I mean, I'd eat it, but
And he said, it's the force, the centrifugal force, and
You
this
want
and that
this
and the
instead?
other.
I remember
And then he
that.
said, if you want ketchup out of the bottom of the
yeah,
bottle,
fuck it, I'll eat it. It's
that's
good.
how you get the ketchup out.
I wonder if that'll work on mayo too.
It'll work on anything.
I always have an issue with
Any
the mayo.
liquid.
Dog food
Any
is
liquid, any
food, yeah.
colloid, anything that has some essentially liquid qualities to it,
What a
or
great
gel
word, colloid. I love that word. I never get a chance to use it.
colloids and reversible and irreversible colloids. Jello is a reversible colloid because it can go back from liquid back to being a gelatinous substance. Eggs are in a non-reversible colloid because once cooked they become gelatinous but cannot return back to their original egg form.
People have actually managed to uncook an egg.
Really?
How?
How?
I'm not clear on the science of it, but I've
It's good. They have to have used some sort of sciencey mechanical thing.
It's going to require a chemical reaction, but
oh yeah, of course.
without a typical chemical reaction, you cannot reverse an irreversible colloid.
Anyway,
We got so off
Yes,
topic.
in any case.
My biology teacher just taught me
Very,
about
very
parasites.
off topic.
Specifically the parasites that you step on the ground and then they kind of plunge themselves into your feet.
worms.
Stabby stabs.
That's how dogs get worms sometimes.
Next on science with D&D,
Yes. So anyway,
fireballs. How do
you're on
they
a
work?
boat. Dude, you're on a boat.
Well,
And-
I'm
Wait,
on a
we're
boat. I'm
You're
on a boat.
You're on a
Is it
ship.
going
Dude.
fast?
Dude, we're on a boat.
To your left, there's seawater. To your right, more seawater. Right straight in front of you, there's seawater. And behind you,
the land.
Seawater.
there's
Bye.
seawater.
When you're talking about being on a boat, all I can think about is Prestige Worldwide, boats and hose.
Oh shit! Go down! Everybody in the place hit the fucking deck!
But it will be on that map.
There you go.
Go! We running this, let's go! I'm on a boat!
I'm on a boat. I'm on a boat.
This one's actually a very beautiful version of this song.
So we'll pick up next week where we are about to jump into the water.
Nope. There's still some things that have to be done.
Like pirate battles, obviously.
Nope.
Oh, ships are flammable.
Another
Do not
Kraken.
Set ours on fire.
You guys get. I mean, it's a couple of days journey out,
Are we doing a
Okay.
seasick check again?
and it is now, and it is boring as fuck. It's more than a couple of days. It's more like
1092 is enthralled in how this boat works and is trying to learn everything he can.
by the ship itself, couple of weeks out.
Holy crap.
Well, the physics of it are easy, and it's the crew is, especially Scurvy, is very happy to explain to the mechanical man how a boat works.
I like how you said the crew is especially scurvy, but you meant
Yes.
the crew is, especially
Comma.
scurvy with a capital S.
Yep.
Meanwhile, I'm over
The
here in the
crew is
corner eating
especially
my orange
scurvy. By the time you get
slices.
to your destination, they're all dead.
Dead, sick, and dying.
They
1092 wants to play with the steery thing.
they don't let you touch that.
Oh.
Good.
That, believe it or not, is Scurvy's position. And he's very, very covetous of it. To the point where he doesn't leave the ship. Ever. That is his wheel.
1092 is trying to learn as much as he can, including how to actually do the jobs.
No, as I was saying, they're very happy to show you.
You just
Everybody
can't
is
touch.
boat religious, especially to Paylor.
Say what?
And he wants to
Everybody
know
on the boat religious to Paylor.
Well, you're talking about humans, so most of them, yes.
He sets up a church and then
I'll take one of the days to like have the holy.
he sets up a religious day on the ship. Damn it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. They, as far as that's concerned, you're like a chaplain now. You're like the unofficial ship's chaplain.
Yay! Does this mean I eventually learn how to handle a sea vessel besides steering?
No.
Oh.
You're not going to know everything right away, but they do show you how things work.
So,
but that doesn't mean you are proficient in.
I never said proficient.
But you know basics. Once
So-
you get most of the way there, the mood on the ship shifts. And it's very thick. People are melancholy. People are more aware. Instead of being like loosely on watch, they are on watch. And off in the distance, you see an island rise out of the water.
Oh,
And then sink back down. A big island.
Shit.
Looks like it's mostly made of stone.
I'd relay to the party. That's not an island. That is not an island. That is the turtle. That is.
And one of the crew members.
You think?
One of the crew members looks at you and says, "Of course, it's not an island." And somebody says, "Get the captain."
All I can think of is the third Aladdin movie when you keep mentioning the Turtle Island.
Wait a minute, Austin. You speak Draconic?
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah, I do.
Scurvy crawls over his wheel and spiders down to the captain's quarters.
I do know Draconic. Does that mean I can speak to Draconic?
And comes out with the captain, at which point he spider climbs up the wall back onto him.
When he does the spider climb, I just sort of do the equivalent of the this thing.
Right. And the captain looks out, and he has this grin on his face. And he practically runs to the front of the ship. And he gets out onto the spire.
Oh dear.
And he's standing there almost like he's surfing as the ship is going along. And
It's got like a John Smith thing going.
he's throwing something into the water. Little bits of something, like little bits of bread or something. You can't really tell. And then the ship suddenly stops, dead in its tracks.
I'm assuming we're thrown forward.
Everybody's thrown forward. There's no save on this. It's so sudden. You're on the ground. The captain clear into the water.
Oh dear.
Man overboard!
The crew start to cheer and, whirl their hats in a circle as if they just won a great battle against an enemy. And then up along the side of the ship, you see the captain rise out of the water as if he's standing on something. And sure enough, he is standing on the snout of a gigantic turtle head.
1092's jaw just falls.
That is almost the size of your tiny little boat.
Sheesh.
He looks off the turtle head onto the boat, turns around and says, "How are you, my old friend?"
And
The
a big
dragon
thing.
turtle, deep, booming, slow voice comes across and says, It's been some time since I've seen you. And he turns to Dane and he says, see, I know a guy.
How about the big thing?
The turtle says, not here to fish, I hope. Of course not. These grand adventurers here are here to clean up the place. There's some treasure down below, as you well know, that I know you would like gotten rid of, so people stop coming around here and bothering you. I've brought them to do at least part of the job. The turtle's eye looks at each one of you in turn and says, dwarf, couple of elves, human, warforged, old one. Yes.
Can I say greetings in Draconic?
Definitely adventurers. And when you say that, he looks at you and he says, do you know who you are?
Still learning that one.
When you find out, come back to me. I would love to hear your story.
Okay, this is going in the notes.
He looks at all of you and he says, I would introduce myself, but I've lived so long, I've forgotten my name. Not that it matters. I don't need one. I am the last of my kind.
I can know that one.
And he says, and this is my home. The sooner you rid me of this wretched, shiny things that your kind is ever after, the better. I will allow this voyage. Mind you, eat no fish. They are mine. Kill no shark, lest it tries to kill you first.
Unapproving what comes from the cleric.
The giant squid, they are my food. Leave them be, lest they attack you first. If any of you should kill a whale, this ship will cease to exist.
What?
And I will seek vengeance on all your races.
Why would it cease to exist?
He's gonna destroy it, in other
Why?
words.
I'm just gonna smack Ricala.
He says, that is my warning, that is my rules. Anything that is made by the hands of your kin, your kind, you may have. Anything that is made by nature, save for a seashell or a memento of some kind, belongs to me. And then he disappears under the water. Not really disappears because he's fucking huge. His head dips under the water and you see a gigantic, basically, island swim underneath the boat and off.
Yeah, God, part of a story I could.
The captain turns around and he says, the seashell thing, that's basically, I mean, if there's something down there like a barnacle or a seashell or a piece of coral, that's fine. Just don't touch any fish. That's it.
I lean close to 1092 and ask if he knows if dragons shed their skin.
They do, but they only shed them at when they're young. By the time they get to ancient, their scales are pretty much permanent.
Yep, there's no way I'm finding that.
1092 still just kind of gives a shrug. I don't know what I just said. What did I say? How did I know it?
We pretty much calling it here.
Yeah.
I think so.
Next week we will dive into the depths and finally get on the map. I do need to ask you guys to do me one favor though.
What's up? Level up.
I'm going to put the players on the map that I created.
Don't look.
I do want you to look. I want you to see if it's as dark as I hope it is. If not, then fuck it. I've done it wrong and I don't care because I don't want to go through it again. But I just want to see if it worked.
I see a box.
Yeah, we see a box and EMPE nothing.
Okay, so all you see is the
M.
area that I've lit up.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, then it worked.
We can only see 5 of us though.
Yeah, that was a.
You're missing Riccardo.
Bye bye, Riccardo. He must have got drunk and fallen off the ship.
I anticipated that he'd be dead by the time you got here. No,
Wow.
Drunken excursion,
grab
fell
him.
overboard, drowned.
Great, so now I
He's
have
too drunk to come with.
Odd, I'm missing Riccardo on this map as well.
Now
Where the
I
hell
have-
did you go?
Uh-oh.
Let's check the tavern.
So now yeah, that's what it be.
You figured he'd miss the boat.
Nice.
There he
Nice,
is.
guys. Nice.
In the tavern.
I told you, he found him in the tavern.
But your stats might be different, Riccardo. Hang on.
Alright. I can fix
Michael,
it.
what are you doing?
Because this might be an old version of you.
That's
Control
fine.
V.
I can fix it.
So
Yeah, check your stat.
now I have to add to my own personal quest. Return to Dragon Turtle and talk with him.
You're old.
All right.
He's old.
Good night, all.
Good night, all.
Have a
Night,
good
guys.
Good night, all.
Yay.
Night.
Return to Dragon Turtle once I figured out what I am and who I am and can learn what.
All right, guys, thanks for joining me. We stream Sunday night D&D every Sunday night, 7 Eastern time. We also have a Friday night D&D that we usually stream every Friday night at 7 Eastern time. However, we haven't streamed for the last 2 weeks in a row due to different reasons. So hopefully we'll be picking Friday night D&D back up next Friday. So I will see you guys again next Friday for Friday night D&D and then Sunday for Sunday night D&D, if not sooner. All right. Thank you and have a good night, guys.